we have our own executive committee member, Jagmohan Singh Rishi. And I am very happy to welcome you, Jagmohan, for this Wednesday Wisdom webinar, along with Indrapal ji, our former president, and Nilji Ghosh, who is also our EC member, and all others who are joined today for this webinar. I think the title of this webinar itself is very, very interesting, that you don't have to be a CEO to be a visionary digital leader. And we know Jagmohan ji is very, very in digital and area. He is a leadership coach and a digital mentor. And we know that he is an author of an Amazon bestseller, Are You a Digital Dinosaur? His passion is to create growth in leaders by guiding the growth of their people. In this training and writing, Jagmohan ji has drawn on 25 years of experience helping organizations achieve their full potentials. He inspires improvement in leadership, project management, and individual learning. He heads the learning and development and digital excellence at the global pharma MNC. As a sought after international speaker, Jagmohan ji belongs to his blends his humorous stories with his on the ground experience to speak to the real problems of people in the room. Encouraged by Jagmohan ji's upbeat and practical style, every learner leaves with the enthusiasm and tools to improve their bottom line. We will also be experiencing the same today by his very innovative way of creating the enthusiasm among the participants. So let us be ready to get inspired, challenged, participate, and laugh at the time when he is making us laugh. Jagmohan ji, I am very happy today that your support always in Leader 2020, Leader Next, and in EC for other initiatives like Innothon and our routine activities at the BMA office. You are always forthcoming. I remember the day when we had Professor Kotler, who was talking to the BMA participants in the month of July, the way you had coordinated that program. And I remember your status in WhatsApp, which is always very, very inspiring and very tickling for the day. In the morning when you post it, we all see that. And today I am requesting you to consider the similar type of humor and the learnings that you post on your WhatsApp messages also. So looking forward to a great interesting session, and I'm sure that all the participants today in this webinar will benefit by the topic that we have today, that you don't have to be a CEO to be a visionary digital leader. So thank you for accepting, and over to you, Jagmohan ji.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for the very, very long introduction. And of course, it was, I don't know whether I deserve these words or not, but definitely I keep on contributing to keep everybody engaged, amused, and also learn in the process. So, and it is my privilege to be addressing and sharing my thoughts on this particular topic on how you can be not a CEO and still you can be a visionary leader, particularly in digitization. And I covered some part of this in my book, Are You a Digital Dinosaur? And when ma'am contacted me for a topic here, I was just thinking. So I will openly say that there were two topics I considered. One was I think in the Palji, you can comment on it. One was that do Ambanis and Tatas require executive presence? And second was, can the non-CEOs can also be leading the visionary digital leadership? So first one was a little provocative, so I discarded it. So I picked up the second one, and that is the reason this particular topic, which we call it, you don't have to be a CEO to be a visionary digital, leader. So that's what I have come out for. And for this, I must thank some of my colleagues who have helped me around. And at the same time, I did some of my research. I am doing some research called brain science buying behavior, and I have done that research during the pandemic times for about 2,000 subjects, and I've got some insights on it also. So before that, I will like to share my screen. Let me just share my screen here from my other gadget. Are you able to see my screen here? Yes.
Yes, sir. We are able
Yeah.
to.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. So I will be, interacting with you through chat, and of course you can unmute because we are almost half a century, and we are too short of half century, so we can go ahead. I hope you are not totally disheartened by the Indian bowling, and which is match is going on between South Africa and India, and let's continue with this. Though you don't have to be a CEO to be a visionary digital leader. And before I go forward, what does this picture tells you? I created this picture, and what does this picture tell you? You can unmute or you can put in the chat box also.
So in the chess, a pawn, when it walks across the board, it becomes like a queen. So it's not like a pawn. Pawn has the equal capacity to become the powerful piece in
Leader,
the chessboard.
absolutely. Bullseye,
Yeah.
definitely. What's the
Just
name, please? I could not see it over here.
Sumit, sir. Sumit.
Sumit, very nice. So, Mr. Mohanty, Sumit Mohanty. And you have rightly said, Indranil Ghosh has also raised the hand.
Sir, I would like to say, sir, this is something like when a spotlight falls on a pawn, you can become a king. So it depends upon what type of light falls on you, whether you are enlightened with something else. So you are not what you are exactly, actually. So you are much bigger than that.
Great,
that
great.
is the understanding.
I've got much better insights from the audience than I had my personal insight on this. The views presented in this presentation are entirely in my individual capacity and not from my organization's perspective. My question now is, I quickly on chat, I would want one answer from everybody. Why are you attending this session? Why are you attending this session?
Because we love to hear from you, sir. That is the only answer.
Indranilji, you are my fan, so equally I'm your fan. So that is, of course, understood. But what about those who are not in BMA, or why other people also? Can you just put in the chat box, why are you attending this session? Somebody forced you to attend this session, or
no, sir. Hi, sir. I'm John. Yeah. So I want to gain your experience, like.
Okay, you learn from you about the enhance the thoughts of today's era related to corporate. Okay, Akash is talking about this thing. Because this will give me, give the foundation for this, that why our audience attending this session. I've got answer from only Akash and John. Let me hear from other people also. One more answer, then I will go forward. Okay, I love to hear from you and want to enhance leadership skills. Good. Okay, thank you very much. So, friends, it's great that you all are interested in this learning, and I would now quickly get into the presentation mode over here. That one of my favorite person, Nikolai Tesla, he said that all things have frequency. Okay. Yeah, Kavita mentioned that the title is very interesting. You look forward to learn from positive mindset. So Tesla said that all things have frequency and vibration. And how many of you agree on this? Give me a thumbs up or thumbs down accordingly. You can give me a thumbs up or thumbs down. Okay, I'm getting a lot of thumbs up over here. That's good. Thank you. And everything has frequency and a vibration, and in organization also, or even in BMA or in a college or institute, Every place there is a frequency and vibration, and how strongly the leader passes on that frequency and vibration down the line, and how they pass it down the line to the customers. That is the whole uh, beauty of it. Since you have chosen to be with me for about 1.5 hours, so welcome, change makers. You are the change makers, because you are going to initiate these changes, because you are going to be the CEOs and you are going to be the leaders of the future. And of course, there are leaders who have made the changes, like Indrapal ji and Indranil Ghoshji. Let me ask you quickly, what is your superpower? For example, my mom says, always tells me that I can connect with everybody very easily. So put in the chat box, what is your superpower, friends? What is one superpower which you have got? My vision. Okay, networking. Very good. Akash is networking. One superpower which is going to make a lot of difference to you and to the world. Out of box thinking. Sumit Mahanti says out of box thinking. Okay. Persistence. I can wait in patience. Okay. Interaction. Kavita says interaction. Pranit says I can wait. I'm patient. Persistence. Excellent. My superpower is communication. Wow. That's great. Communication. Excellent. So one of the superpower which I would want all of you to develop is this particular, frequency, and creating the right kind of frequency with your colleagues, your peers, your up the line, down the line, and creating a vibration for that. That is one superpower I would want you all to develop it further. I'm a little bit on my introduction further, although Kavita ma'am have given a very large introduction, but I'm an army reject salesperson, became a salesperson, turned a leader trainer, transformed to a digital mentor. And this is my mentor, Marshall Goldsmith, and I learned a lot from him accordingly. I started selling as a salesperson Dalantin, which is a particularly for locha in the mind. Then there was locha in the throat. I started selling Benadryl also, and there was a locha in the stomach. I started selling Gelusil. Of course, then one achieves the targets and comes spirited at home. You have to take Listerine or Halls so that smell doesn't come. And of course, for Sundar Twacha Karaj, I also sold Sebamed also. Some of the products which I also sold in Pfizer is Forex and Viagra. And these are some of the companies which I work for: Parktavis, Von Lambert, Pfizer, Abba Wockard, and of course Abba Mannheim, and of course Sebamed. These days you must be seeing a lot of ads of Sebamed, uh, but they are operating at the equation which I posted in the social media yesterday only. I don't know whether you have remembered that equation or not. Yeah, Madam mentioned about my book, Are You a Digital Dinosaur? It's available only on Amazon, and it's bestseller, particularly during pandemic times. One of the social causes which I'm doing here is I'm donating all the profits to Bharat Ke Veer Foundation, which supports the widows of Indian Army. So you can help me out in spreading the knowledge of this, and you can all subscribe. If not buy the book, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel. That we have put the link in the chat box, and also press the like button also. Besides this, some other books which are which are there, which are not launched, is Digital Facilitation Playbook. I've also launched a training managers playbook accordingly. And during the pandemic, I experimented with Golden Mic Speaker, today's speaker program. So now, since many of you are management graduates, who told this? I think I will ask Indranilji and Indrapalji to please don't participate in this, because you must be knowing the answer. When the rate of change on outside exceeds the rate of change inside, the end is near. Who said these words? Put in the chat box, or you can unmute and say also. Some of you are mentioning that I am asking a lot of questions. No problem. I'm waiting for the answers, my dear friend. Don't Google it, please. So am I getting the answer from anybody? You can give your answer, what you think. You can be right or you can be wrong. No issues with that. Let's have one or two answers from the audience, and then before we go forward. Are you there, all of you? Okay. No idea, said Ratan Tata. Okay. It's not Ratan Tata, it is Jack Welch who said these words, friends. So it is Jack Welch who said these words that if when the rate of change on the outside exceeds the rate of change on the inside, the end is near. Yeah, he's a GE CEO, definitely. So moving on further, friends, if I have to take it forward, I'm going to ask some questions and you have to put in the chat box quickly. Because I'm going to ask a lot of questions, because otherwise, you know what happens, this is a virtual medium and, people tend to do multiple things, multitasking. For example, listening to TV, listening match, cutting vegetables, okay, dancing, gymming. So let me ask you questions. First question is, do you think the mid managers can be visionary? You can put the answer yes or no in the chat box. Yes. Okay. I've got one yes, two yeses, three yeses, four yeses. Okay. Good, good, good. I think it's 5 yeses. Very nice. Very good. Let me ask you the second question now, which is more specific. What percentage of middle managers are aligned to CEO's vision, my dear friend? What percentage of middle managers are aligned to CEO's vision? What percentage out of 100? Maybe 50%, 95%, hardly any, unless forced. इंद्रनील घोष जी, आप तो reality बता रहे हो. And some of the students who are saying that, it is 95%, they are still not experienced enough to this becoming a CEO. 40%, 10%. Okay. Okay, I will give the answers later on. Let me ask question number 3. What percentage of CEOs are aware of ground realities? What percentage of CEOs are aware of ground realities? Nil, Akash 50. Okay, less than 5%, very few. Okay, great, excellent. Debashish is saying 10%. Okay. Let me go to the next question then. What percentage of middle managers are proactive to opportunities that are shown by the market? What percentage of middle managers are proactive to opportunities that are shown by the market? 70%, 40%, okay, 60%. Okay, so let me give a little bit of secrets based on the research which I did. Of course, do you think middle managers can be visionary? Obviously, they can be visionary. And anybody can be visionary. Anybody can be a CEO also, but middle managers can be visionary. Okay. What percentage of middle managers are aligned to CEO's vision? Normally, if a performing company, the research was done, a performing company is there, around more than 50% are aligned to CEO's vision. If it is 100%, then it's an ultimate thing. 100% are never aligned to the CEO's vision, but definitely is a good performing company. 50 to 70% are aligned to CEO's vision. What percent of CEOs are aware of ground realities? Again, the high performing companies like Amazon or Reliance or I call it Microsoft, they more than 50% or 70% are aware of ground realities, but it is not so in every company. What percentage of middle managers are proactive to opportunities? Again, it all depends on the performing companies. Non-performing, mid-performing companies, they are less than 40% also. So these are some of the statistics before I start with it. My topic starts with this: visionary digital leadership. Why leaders digital vision is required? How difficult it is to create digital vision? Who creates the vision? Top management or managers? And how do managers contribute in shaping companies' vision, my dear friend? Well, more than yesterday, I got this mail and I put it over here. 50 more startups in wings to be unicorn, a report said. And over $10 billion to be invested in the Indian startup ecosystem in October-December quarter. So if this number of unicorns are going to come, obviously you need to have CEOs who are having frequency and who are having vibration also. That's the kind of thing which I will be talking about it, so that that person is able to create that kind of buzz in the marketplace. So moving on further, friends, if it is that's a kind of need in the market, the digital change. I will talk about it, that how convergence of new age technologies like artificial intelligence, IoT, blockchain, robotics, and virtual and mixed reality is poised to change the world order and create new business and operational models for enterprises and society. In fact, just now, about half an hour before this session, I was discussing with one of the parties who's going to be future unicorn regarding all these, digital tools. And I was thinking of launching a virtual reality and of course augmented reality in my manufacturing and L&D section. So these are some of the changes which are required, how man machine will coexist in the future, and toward creating more sustainability, predictability in decision making, and enable more efficient use of resources to enable smart, adaptive, fault tolerant, and hyper personalized transactions, friends. These are some of the topics which are there. And creating a unifying digital vision for any organization is a fundamental skill for a leader. In fact, going it further, a simple, bold, inspirational vision can feel almost magical. In fact, it is very important, easy to say these words. A simple, bold, inspirational vision. It is in the hands of the leader, the CEO. But many times we have heard these words also. Leaders set aspirational direction, while managers simply ensure that their day-to-day operations follow accordingly. However, even as manager and aspiring leader, you have a number of opportunities to get hands-on experience in shaping a vision, my dear friends. Right? I would like to have little yes or no on this particular question on the second part. That do you think you have? I think you have already answered it. Let me not repeat the question. So each of these can propel professional development, leading to bigger responsibilities over time. I would also be sharing with you a blueprint, my dear friends, which with which a leader can create multiple touch points with the middle managers. In fact, I came across this quote: "Marketing is no longer about the stuff that you make; it is about the stories you tell." Similarly, these are the stories which a CEO can tell to the down the line middle managers, and that is how he or she can create right kind of frequency, right kind of vibration in the middle managers, and that is how they can ensure the right kind of opportunity. Now question is, why we are talking of this topic? Why should why you don't have to be a CEO for a visionary digital leadership? I will talk about ABCs for the non-CEOs. I'm talking about ABC so that it is easy to understand. Number one is assist, build, and cascade. Now, first point is assisting, assisting the CEO for shaping the digital vision. Number two is build the company digital vision relevant to your team, for your team. And of course, cascading your own digital vision. I'll be focusing on these three things. And then, of course, I will be talking about one very traditional model, and I will show you a blueprint how a leader can create that kind of ecosystem. In fact, if you see here, if we talk about first one, assisting the CEO for shaping digital vision, HBR has shown that digital vision creation is beyond seeing just the future. C-suite normally misses, the critical information like customer experiences, operation realities, and hopes and dreams of the people working with them. In fact, these are very, very important aspects. And each one of us can propel professional development, leading to bigger responsibilities. But many senior leaders, they miss critical information, once again, for the sake of repetition. In fact, there was a case study on IBM where Sam, their CEO, he engaged thousands of employees and other stakeholders to process that many city leaders have been used for past years to engage citizens in identifying opportunities for ambitious community improvement. So there, in fact, the IBM and the citizens, they joined hands. They raised volunteers to the kind that they did a collective problem solving. And who was doing it? It was not the CEO who was doing it. It was the citizens down the line who volunteered for this. And not only that, you will know that they started developing vision creation abilities, and they also learned how to solve the problem there and then only. The IBM created the system in such a way that it helped the citizens to solve their problems there and then itself. Of course, it is not just about digital, my dear friend. It is about looking what is working and what is not, what to digitize and what not to digitize, and reassigning, processes, adding value, better processes, faster and better customer experience. There is a very good case study which I've done, comparison case study, Amazon versus Best Buy. In fact, what happened was when Amazon was launched, Best Buy, for the first time, they lost $1.7 billion in a single quarter. In fact, the retailer Best Buy is one of the, those companies which created competitive advantage that digital players only could replicate. And, when Amazon raised the price comparison app, launched it, it was definitely a big disadvantage to Best Buy. So their CEO, what they did was he hired certain consultants who trained down the line leaders and centered his strategy in the business model in solving two problems: negative comparable sales and declining operating margins. That is what he sold down the line, of course. And he envisioned a company that is blended human, physical, and digital ways. So again, I repeated: human, physical, and digital ways that on an online only player could not match it. So Amazon is a totally online player. So what they did was they created a model that was disadvantage to Amazon, and they created earlier it was a disadvantage to them because they had a high value real estate. So in the process, what they did was they created my mini stores for Apple, Samsung, Microsoft within their systems, and as a result, they were able to capitalize on it, and they turned the system profitable. That is how they did it, my dear friend. In fact, can you recall some of the examples in India, if you have some idea, before I go forward? And this is one example of Best Buy, wherein the CEO, he sold his vision to down the line, and they ensured that down the line also they were able to live that vision of a CEO. Second example I gave you was IBM, where they sold the vision to the citizens, and that is how the citizens took responsibility of ensuring the right kind of opportunities in the market. Anyway, moving it further, friends. Some of the examples globally which I can talk about is IKEA, which again was transformed organization. Netflix, which tried to copy Blockbuster, but then they transformed themselves to a digital company totally. Lego is another reinvention story. In fact, I don't want to go into detail about this Lego, but if you want to know more about it, it is a classic case study in itself, which was a traditional company, but they launched a strategy which bridged physical and virtual augmented reality experiences. So that is how they bridge the gap through physical and digital, my dear friends. That is one of the case studies, and of course, Microsoft is another one. First one, after the first one, we go to the second part, that is building the company vision relevant to your team, my dear friend. In fact, here you translate the company vision of your business and unit and the function. This kind of small scale vision crafting will benefit from same kind of broader perspective. For example, World Bank, they did it. Their head of small strategy team brainstormed with his colleagues about how to translate overall organizations a world free from poverty concept. Although it is still work in progress, but then that is how they created small teams. The concept into a tangible, practical for his team. They came up with a vision for new poverty reduction strategies, and that could come from anywhere in the world. And this led to series of developmental marketplaces where thousands of people throughout the world could showcase innovative new ideas for economic development and of course compete for funding, of course. I will share with you a very, very relevant example today itself. I was discussing with one of the unicorns who was pitching for some of their solution. they are in a marketplace for supplying medicines to the nursing homes and hospitals. And their vision is, the CEO's vision is best and the fastest and also cost effective. Now, I found out that each of their key account managers and also the resources, which be it marketing, account manager, supplier, CRM manager, they were all sold to this vision and they were all talking the same language. They showed me a tracker, how they added value to the CEO's vision. And one of the punchline was 24 hours to 2.4 hours. So something which was taking delivery to 24 hours, they started delivering in 2.4 hours. That is definitely a CEO's vision, my dear friend. And that is how the down the line mid managers are living that, of course. Going yet further, that is the B part, and now the C part, that is cascading your own vision. At times, a new company vision doesn't begin with C-suite and instead rises up from the visions of lower level leaders who used to drive innovation and change in their own units. I mentioned in my previous slides also that many times the CEO is not aware of the ground realities. And that is where the cascading of the vision up the line also works that way. This is one example which I'm talking about. PBS is a broadcaster. PBS developed and launched a successful channel for children. An initial vision came from middle managers. You know, he was, it was Rottenberg, I suppose, and who of children's media for the network. And she convinced the doubting CEO, Paula, about an offering that was consistent with educational vision for the network. And that could be developed in a cost effectively and meet the real audience and needs that could be addressed. In fact, from the Indian perspective, I can share with you one of the dinosaurs company, which was discussing about digital campaign for a purpose-driven digital communication. They rolled out a campaign, and the only thing which they were concerned was how much likes and comments they are getting it. So obviously, this campaign is going to flop. That is because it was not coming up the line, because it was drawn down the line also. So no feedback has been taken from down the line people. That is where. Now we have got three aspects over here: A, B, C. Align the vision, and of course, B is build the vision, and third is cascade the vision, of course. And this brings us to 4 C's of vision game. Getting 4 C's of vision game is very, very important. I would want your complete attention over here. Get clarity on vision, and of course, and its importance. Don't confuse with values, mission, strategy, and beliefs. In fact, first get clear on what vision is and why it matters. Organizations renew their visions more frequently than their mission as a way to motivate themselves to new levels of performance. Second part is look at the contribution opportunities. Translate vision for your team. Catalyze innovation. And of course, watch for different kinds of opportunities to contribute, and find opportunities outside your company, shape or build a vision in your faith-based organization, neighborhood association, and of course, some of your other community organization where you are a volunteer. You can learn from many opportunities, even small scale ones, and startups can also help you out of kind of thing. The third is collaboration. Don't do all the deciding alone. This is very, very important. If you find a vision building opportunity, don't do it alone, particularly for just a senior leader might benefit from having you involved and contributing to a major corporate vision and share processes with others working with you and own vision building. It will sharpen your collaboration skills as well. In fact, we did a very good intervention some years back with the business heads, and where we found that if you sell the vision down the line, everybody, even the front ender salesperson or even the person who's cleaning the table in the restaurant, will be living your vision. That is how that is. And finally, learn from the cases, examples. Learn a lot by actively watching how others do it. Learn by watching the others' vision building. This is one way of doing learning from that. And this is what I talk about 4 C's of vision game. I'm going to present to you a very busy slide over here and some of the examples how a how a middle manager can live the vision, my dear friend. In fact, this is a very busy slide. I won't cover the entire aspect of it. I will cover the first part of it only, that talks about, this aspect, that if no consistent information about investment in portfolio of projects and manual in processes. Two, clear and easily obtained information about investment flows and automated processes. Now, this see if we have a metric over here, what a middle manager can do and what a system can do. A reduction in time needed to update portfolio review information from 10 days to just seconds, my dear friend. And this is exactly what the role of middle managers will be here, how they can help creating a vision of automation and how they can create right kind of approach in that. Then of course this is, I wouldn't like to go into this slide particularly, but it talks about how if you are having right kind of vision, how Amazon really beat Walmart with respect to sales per employee. And after this, if you have any question, I will take a pause over here. And if you have any question right away, because I'm getting into a traditional model, then I will get into a different kind of thing. Yes, there are some examples like Misho and Boat, they have contributed over here. At this juncture, if you have any questions regarding A, B, C of the digital vision creation for non-CEOs, I would pause over here, and if you have any question, I would like to answer, and then if I'll get into the second part of the presentation. And wait for 30 seconds, and then I will move forward. Okay, if it is no question, then of course I will move on. I like to mention over here that a non-CEO, if a middle manager has to be living a vision and passing out that information to up the line, it has to first be before launching digital. I'm interacting with many digital experts and gurus. You can't do digitization to a to a company which is not having systems and processes. If you do first the systems and processes has to be put in place, the design thinking process has to put in place, then you do digitization and you can get an excellent product over there. But if you do digitization to a faulty mechanism, a faulty system, the digitization will flop, my dear friend. Yeah, one thing you can do is you can reinvent and transform the organization which is having faults and flops and gaps in the system. And that is one of the things which I'm going to bring it out, which is a traditional model, which many of the seniors sitting over here must be aware of it, my dear friends. And that I will talk about is a situational leadership model. If somebody is aware of this situational leadership model, I would welcome to explain this model. Otherwise, I will quickly cover it up in next 5 minutes and then move forward, because this is not about situational leadership. Okay, so since nobody's coming forward, I would like to cover it over here, that if a CEO uses this approach of situational leadership, be it situational digital leadership, the person can find out the maturity level, which is down below here, the maturity level of the middle managers and direct reportees. And if a person is at D4 level, they call it, that is high on competence and high on commitment, the person can be thought about finding out their own ways and helping them in vision. But everybody is not mature enough. So many times the people need direction, requires coaching or supporting or delegating. Delegating is the highest level of maturity of a team member or the middle managers. So in short, this is a model which helps the CEO roll it out in his or her team, how how their direct reportees are in the developmental phase. If they are developing, that is a different part, and if they are developed, there is a different part. So if I am having people in the field, for example, I was talking about one of the organizations which is rolling out supplies to the hospitals. If down the line my managers are in a particular category or a role, they are D4s, I can be rest assured that my vision is being rolled out, and they will find out newer opportunities, newer businesses from the marketplace, because many of the ideas, they come from the customers only. It's CEO sitting in the ivory tower cannot find out what is happening in the marketplace. And there the CEO's role will be coming, how, what kind of leadership style he or she is using. So in case a person is a very energetic person, a new person, one can use S1 style, which is directing. Second is, if a person is not so committed, but he or she knows the job a little bit, one can use coaching style. If person is knowing, but he or she is hesitating, then you can use supporting style. And if person is fully committed and fully competent, one can use the delegating style. This is how, in short, my dear friend, I will like to cover it out, that if you really want to create multiple mini CEOs in the marketplace, you have to create D4s in the marketplace. If you think, some of you mentioned that how many people are aligned to ground realities, it is the S4 leaders, it is the D4 performers who are bound to be mini CEOs or non CEOs in the marketplace, who will find out opportunities in the marketplace, my dear friend. So that is how it is. Any comments on this particular slide, or can I move forward? I plan to finish my presentation by in next 10-15 minutes, and then of course I'll welcome any questions if you have. My next part of the presentation is that 99% of the companies believe a single customer view is very, very important, and but only 24% of them, they have single customer view. They need to leverage the UID for customers. UID is unique identification. Okay, so that is where a challenge comes. In fact, as per the survey, I also found out that 95% of CEOs, they want that there should be digitization, and processes should be automated. But surprisingly, as per the survey, only 30% of the CEOs after or during pandemic are still thinking about doing it. 30% have done it. Rest of them are still thinking of doing it, friends. Now, this is some analogy which I like to give over here. In case you really want to create mini CEOs or the micro CEOs at the ground reality, it is not the T which is important, it is the container which is important. That is where it is. Container is very, very important. And who creates this container? It is the CEO's role to create a container. It is an ecosystem which is being created by the leader, who creates mini CEOs down the line, who finds out what are the ground realities, and they report up the line, and they create a local vision, so that they are living the CEO's vision also, and they implement their own vision also. But learning here is that you don't go alone. You share your vision with your peers up the line, down the line, and bounce that idea with others, and then you implement those vision accordingly. I'm going to share with you one case study here, Zictel, which is an Australian, futuristic unicorn. I came across this thing, which it creates an collective intelligence aspect over here, and it gives an opportunity for organizations have a priority and focus on improve retention, increase engagement, and upskilling also. It creates collective intelligence, helps to drive collaboration and achieve multiple business benefits for the organization. It's a collective intelligence platform that drives retention, collaboration, upskilling, and talent agility also, my dear friend. And going it further, this is an important slide which I read, which attracted me. It harmonizes employee aspirations with the organization goals. What are the employee aspirations? They are career growth. They need to be rewarded for their work. Personal branding is required, and upskilling is required. This can be done if we map with organizational goals through employee engagement, through retention, through innovation, and through skilling. And if we create an opportunity like Zictel kind of what they are, you can create a brilliant talent and keep them contributing brilliantly up the line also, and also living the vision also. How they are doing it? They're offering mentors to the mentees, mentors to all employees, or leaders to employees, experts to seekers, and experts to the project owners also. This is kind of marketplace which an organization can have and ensure that they create D4 D4 employees, that is development level 4 employees, and I call it mini CEOs. That is a kind of approach, if we take it, that will help us out, kind of thing. Future ready leaders can be there. Of course, you can use gamification, you can use onboarding for externals, and of course, you can use a personal brand. And this is you can have engagement model, work log, reporting, governance, powered by workflow. What is the objective of this? What I'm talking about is the intelligent data. And you can have a collective intelligence in this through this particular approach. And this will help us create multiple models in this. And the next slide is very, very interesting, that it enables employees to be learners and teachers also. This model leads to increased interconnections, sharing knowledge and expertise, and foster innovation and culture of collaboration and success. That is why I was talking about CEO is here. The mini CEOs are here in the marketplace, and this creates a platform in which you can share the localized vision up the line also. Employees can play different roles in different engagement, and of course, they can have different engagement simultaneously also. So, before I close, my dear friend, I would like to mention here that one of the CEO's role is to be a chief purpose officer also. That is something. This chief purpose officer is. I have seen in many of the visions that if you give a purpose, I think somebody's mobile is buzzing. So if you give a purpose to your middle managers down the line, you can you just create some kind of vibration and frequency in the entire organization, so that they are driven by that purpose. For example, one of the purpose is life wins. Life should win, and irrespective of whether it's pandemic or not pandemic is there. So these are some of the aspects which I believe in that. And developing digital vision is an essential capability for the top leaders, my dear friend, because developing vision of organization sets a strategy and high performance, and it will always be seen as essential capability for the top leaders. And leadership quality, visioning requires practice, and there's no better way to get that practice at any level, friends. And if you think that learning by doing is a gift for anyone on organizational chart, with the courage to dream and speak up, it is definitely a gift. And it is important that we should have this kind of approach when we are at a CEO level, and we help the CEO roll it out, my dear friend. So this is my last slide, and I will close with this particular slide of mine. What is your worst flaw? Well, I am too awesome. And if you want to connect with me, you can always connect with me on these coordinates, friends. So this is it. And if you have any questions, I would welcome questions rather than keep on doing the presentation, which is my presentation. I find it pretty boring from that angle. But if you think you have any questions, I would welcome the questions.
Thank you, Rishiji. Thanks for very interesting presentation and the case studies that you had presented. I will request the participants to keep the videos on for taking the photograph for this event. And in the meantime, if you have any question, please raise your hand. You can unmute yourself and ask the question to Jagmohan ji. Yes, Indranil ji, your turn.
Actually, it is not a question. Actually, in one of the slides I found, instead of digital, you have made it digital. It starts with Z instead of D. I could not follow what is the main difference between digital and digital. Is it a mistake or just like that?
No, it's a brand called Zictal.
Zictal, right?
It's a brand called Zictal. It's an Australian brand called Zictal.
Yeah, yeah.
And it is not a mistake. It's a conscious mistake.
Right. Now, I didn't follow exactly what is the relation between Zictal and digital.
Zictal is a brand which is creating a platform to, where it is many times what happens in the large organizations. You don't get an opportunity, the middle managers, they don't get an opportunity to share their vision openly with the CEOs or to the senior leaders. So some of the companies, they have a system of brainstorming or they have a system of feedback. But this is one of the system which we call it Zictal, where you create mentors, you create mentees, you get experts, you get seekers. And you can come on that platform, register there as a seeker, register as a mentee, and you can get a mentor on your own. And you can share your vision, mini vision on that platform. And that can be implemented. And if it is implemented like in 3M, there is a platform. Like that is a kind of platform which I was proposing it. And if you have that kind of platform, the organization benefits out of it. Because otherwise this resource can go outside and they can share that idea to your competitor.
Right. Thank you very much.
My pleasure, sir.
Rishiji, I have a question.
Bigyan ji.
A very simple question. I've already put in the chat box also. But what is the most effective way of helping vision mission percolate down to the janitor level also?
Yeah, in fact, it's a very interesting question, and it is the question, I will say.
Absolutely.
If you are a CEO, that is the only way. In fact, Vikanji, if you had seen one of my slides, I mentioned that in slide of Nicholas Tesla. He said that everything is about vibration and frequency. Everything is about vibration and frequency. If I can have that vibration of my CEO, who's sitting in Mumbai, or who's sitting in New York also, at end level, say Kanyakumari or Kashmir or in Guwahati also, that CEO's job is done. That is what alignment I call it. In fact, there is a case study, very interesting case study of Chili's. Chili's is a restaurant. I used to go in Powai here. So it is a global case study wherein they were going into losses, and they did an intervention through an external agency on ownership and accountability. And the vision of CEO was that I have to get minimum 5% profit from the processes. So that was the vision of a CEO. So process is what that they rolled out. Cutting the long story short, one of the processes buzzing the table. Buzzing the table is cleaning the table by the by in the restaurant, by the cleaner or by the waiter accordingly. So how fast you buzz the table, you are also adding 5% profit. It's a part of the process. So the interventional consultant, they went to the restaurants and they asked those buzzer, what is your job? He said, my job is to increase 5% profit of the company by buzzing and ensuring the next customer comes faster. That's the kind of thing.
Yeah, similarly, so they succeeded in percolating it down to the lowest level also. Because I was, when in NASA, long back when the man had not landed on the moon, the vision statement of NASA used to be, to send the man to the moon and bring him back safely.
Absolutely.
That was a vision statement. And everyone in that organization knew about that. So the problem which I think in many organizations face is that, like even the middle level people or senior level people, many of them really do not know what is the vision statement and why is it like this? What are the mission statements? Or many times I've seen that.
Absolutely. You said it right, sir, because many times vision and mission statement are the posters which are put on the walls.
They remain on the posters.
Or in annual statement.
Absolutely.
Okay. So many times if you do a just dipstick, you go to any company and ask an employee, what is your vision and what is your mission? They will not remember it.
They will not remember.
Second problem with this missions and vision statement is so complicated, they don't understand only.
Absolutely. I agree with you. But great presentation, by the way.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. It's just my thoughts which I've just compiled together, and some case studies which I put from HBR and case study from my experience, of course.
Sir, 1 minute more, if you allow me.
Yeah, please.
See, a very interesting thing what you said is that the bazaar cleans the table. Now, here you are talking about the internal process improvement. So if you see the balance scorecard, it is the third perspective, the internal process. and it is actually a driver. So ultimately, it is going to affect the financial as well as customer. So it will definitely add to the profit, which is a financial perspective, and customers' loyalty and customer satisfaction, which is the customer perspective. So that way, definitely linkages have been done very, very nicely. And regarding that vision and mission, see, it is always a problem. But only thing is, yeah, the bottom level of the pyramid may not know what is vision and mission. But once you do this type of anchor that channeling, that means you are percolating down the vision and mission to the lowest bottommost level up to these work instruction, what to do and what not to do, then purpose is solved. So the person did not know what is the vision and mission. The janitor may not know what is the vision and mission, but if he knows what is to be done and what is not to be done, it is ultimately alignment with the vision and mission is there, right, sir? That is my view. Definitely,
Absolutely.
you can express your views.
No, Gosab, you have. I think you should have done that. You must have done the training at Chili's, I suppose. But the thing is that you talk the language of vision to the person the way they are able to understand. It's a basic, definition of a communication.
Right.
If I am giving complicated vision to the down the line, they will just mug it up and they will blurt it out.
It is not required for them to know. If they know what to do and not to do, that is more than enough. Absolutely. Because ultimately that is linked with the vision and mission. Yeah,
absolutely. There is another case study which my personal experience, which I rolled it as an intervention, is that in a sales, there was a division which was doing 100% of their targets. Okay, but the profitability was not coming from that. So they were selling all the products which were non-profitable. So intervention was done, and they were told, if you sell these, then the division will be profitable, and you can get better increments next year. Otherwise, if you keep on selling this and achieving targets, the increments will be lesser. So that's a kind of selling which was done by the CEO, by the business head, and they created a mantra. 50 ka punch, something like that. Okay, 50 ka punch, 5 lakh in those kind of mantra got done. And everybody had that thing mantra in their mobile phones as a screensaver. Okay. Right, thank you very much. When they were booking the orders from their stockists, they were booking those particular products which was profitable, and that definitely led to profitability increase in the, and that's how you live the vision, my dear friends.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. I will request Indrapal ji.
So very, very good presentation. I'm a digital dinosaur, so I may not, add to the technicalities at all. But one of very good case studies that I have read recently about is of JCB. Those people who make construction equipment. The JCBs are known as those trawlers and crawlers, and they break down things and cranes and other things. It's a British company with factories near Delhi and elsewhere also. So their CEO had made this statement that they would increase the service time, like what you mentioned, Jagmohanji, of repairing JCBs within, say, 48 hours, they will reach spare parts using digital tools anywhere. Also, they are offering services to monitor the status of the equipment remotely.
Absolutely.
So it's one of the wonderful example that at least something on the lines which Caterpillar used to say, that we can reach our spare parts anywhere in the world in 48 hours. But this company is now trying to do within 24 hours, whether their JCB is working in Northeast or in Kashmir or in Kanyakumari or elsewhere. So I think very powerful statement, and you can imagine the amount of work they would have done internally, because so many SKUs and so many machines and spare parts, everything trying to reach the kind of hub and spoke system to reach the spare parts and service. So it's a very, very good example of JCB.
Definitely.
You can look it up.
Thank you, sir. In fact, I had read something about Caterpillar and JCB also, that they have digitized their system. You can't expect this kind of company to digitize themselves, because they have put IoT devices and blockchain in their system such a way that you can locate their devices anywhere in the world.
Anyway,
that's a kind of digitization they have done. And they have also started using artificial intelligence and also augmented reality also. Just to give an analogy, you must be seeing an ad in the paper, in the TV, wherein I think Urban Company or some company which is there, where the consultant is watching from video call okay, what is the problem in the washing machine? And he is advising the technician, okay, this is the problem. Similarly, through augmented reality, one is able to, and artificial intelligence, one can find out what is the problem. That is how the turnaround time, which was earlier 24 hours to 3 days also, it has come down to just 2-3 hours also only. But again, sir, as you rightly mentioned, I mean, it is the mindset of the CEO and of course mid managers also, which will ensure the vision creation and envisioning the vision also.
Yeah, yeah. It's the commitment of the CEO to create an unusual and distinctive customer experience.
Absolutely.
And then asking those questions as to how to create that experience, they've thought of all the means, like you mentioned, streamlining of the processes, digitizing them, adding all new technologies to the thing. But the fundamental differentiator that company has thought that anybody who uses JCB equipment should not have more than X hours of downtime, no matter what terrain, what conditions, what temperatures that equipment is working. So with that sort of a commitment to serve customers, they have utilized digital technologies to reach the purpose. And the other point I wanted to make was it's very difficult to communicate vision down the line, in a large organizations. It's quite difficult. I mean, communication, of course, could be the answer, but it's not easy. And therefore, like you mentioned, this creative way of reaching out on their mobile phones with some mantras and reminding them constantly in their activities is very valid one. It's a very useful thing.
Yes, sir. Of course, there multiple workshops are required. Just like you must have done value workshops in the organization. Similarly, like values, integrity, humility, ownership is one of the values. Similarly, the vision selling is also required. Workshops are required, and there, as Indranilji was mentioning, that it should be understood by the last man standing over there. If it is not understood, they will mug it up and they will just blurt it out. It will be a vision. My vision is to the best admired company in the world. This is normal vision. But if we break it down, that my vision is that I will help 5% of the profit through processes only, then of course it makes a lot of difference. And of course, balance scorecard is one of the tools which helps us in living the vision.
I think Indranilji should give a presentation on balance scorecards.
Yeah, definitely. It is one of my favorite topics, of course.
Sir, I am ready. You have to just order me.
Kavita ji has to order you, sir.
Next month, sir, we will plan for Indranil sir's presentation.
मैं देखना पड़ेगा, madam. I cannot just commit you. I have to see whether my availability.
Yeah, obviously. Without your availability, we can't have you.
We can have one program on balance scorecard and enter strategy, you can say. How they, from vision, mission, percolating down up to the KRA, KPI level, right?
Yes, I think I got certified about 5 years back, and that is one of the most important topics, particularly for execution excellence.
Right.
Very good.
Akash Devkar, can you unmute yourself? Akash?
Yes, ma'am.
You want to ask question? Your comment is there. Do you want to?
Yes, ma'am. I have to ask question.
Please go ahead.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Yeah, sir. What I was asking is like in coming 4 decades, like it's going to be digital dictatorship. Like all the humans are either going to behaving like a robots, or the robots are behaving like a human. This is how the level of digital will come in 4 decades. So what do you see, like how it's going to affect the corporate world or advantage to the corporate world?
Frankly speaking, no, I don't think too much in the future. I see in the present and what is going to come in next 2-3 years, because the things, the way they are changing. Who knows? Today there is a corona. Who would have thought about corona and COVID 2 years back, and how the world is changing? So definitely the digitization is happening. I was definitely a big proponent of digitization before COVID, and I'm still a proponent. But thing is that changes are going to happen, but I don't think that it is going to go to the level of Matrix and Avengers and other things. It is going to be something, because there are people who are on balance, who are balanced. Particularly leaders are there who will have to ensure that the right balance is maintained between the mindfulness and the digitization. So there are a lot of things which are happening simultaneously also, and it should not be blind digitization. I personally believe it should not be blind digitization. Because it is it and as a corporate, if anything is not giving me profits, I will not go into that. And let me share with you, I, as of now, there are some things, there is a very nice video I think we showed in the digital summit, madam. I remember that there are some things which cannot be done by digitization. For example, thinking cannot be done, the emotional intelligence cannot be done, and anything which is repetitive can be done through digitization. But there are some aspects, for example, which are, you have to engage a customer, you have to appeal to the emotional part of the customer, selling part particularly. They cannot be done. And the innovation cannot be done by digitization. So there will be requirement of human beings, my dear friend. They are not going to become extinct.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
And of course, corporate will be definitely balancing it out. Otherwise, by now, America would have become extinct, or even China would have become extinct.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
So any other person want to speak to Rishiji?
Somebody has asked a question, ma'am, how to move from S1 to S4. Praneeth has asked this question. In fact, I covered the situational leadership theory in just maybe 5 minutes, but this is a complete 3 days workshop which I do, and I coach on that also. And this is a very important theory which you should always, if possible, try to learn as much as possible. There is a methodology of moving. It doesn't mean a person moves from S1 to S4. It is always person moving from D1 to D4. A leader has to be flexible enough, I must say. He or she should be flexible enough to use the style S1, S2, S3, S4. The research has shown that about 60% of the leaders use only one style. If I am S1, I am D1, and Indraji is using S4 on me, there's going to be mismatch on that. So he has to use S1 because I am a D1. That is what situational leadership theory says. So the beauty of leaders' understanding is flexibility. A leader should know when to use which style. So there's a lot of depth in this. Maybe I will cover up sometime else when we talk about situational leadership or inspirational leadership theory. So Kavitaji, we can bring out some kind of expert on situational leadership. Else I can also cover it sometime later in 2022.
Sure. Thank you.
We can have one MDP on this situational leadership.
Yeah, definitely. It is one of my favorites and certified for that also, and it's a great one. I can bring some of the experts in this.
So thank you very much. I'm sure today is a very well spent evening with Jagmohanji, with his presentation, which is thought-provoking and giving challenges to the position where you are to elevate yourself and try and see how we can be relevant and how we can contribute. The whole analysis boils down to your contribution, your understanding, and how you can be with the team when you are trying to achieve the goals of organization. Thank you, Rishiji, for your presentation and this webinar for all of us. Thank you very much, all of you, for being with us. Indrapalji, thank you. Vigyanji, Indranilji, thank you very much for being with us today.
Thank you, ma'am.
On 21st, today we saw leadership by digitization, digital way. On 21st, we will have Vaijayanti Naik and Harish Iyer, who will be talking leadership by inclusion. Do join us on 21st of January 2022 at 6 o'clock to understand how inclusion, diversity, and equity can help the organizations to achieve the goals.
Right, ma'am.
Do not forget to log on to Bombay Management Association's YouTube channel. We have a lot of interesting, educative webinars, YouTube videos, which will give you many dimensions of management and leadership. Subscribe the YouTube channel, give a like if you like, and do join us every Wednesday and Friday at 6 p.m. for new topics, new speakers, new engagement, and new learning. Thank you. Have a nice evening.
Thank you very much.
Great session.
So,